How are we doing? Are we okay? I think most of us are okay, but some of the guys that were like the most hardcore into the GTA 27th trailer 2 is dropping stuff. Some of those people I think are genuinely like probably not okay right now, because a lot of people went hard. I mean, if you're not familiar somehow, very quick recap, just in case you are curious and you somehow missed it. For the last like week and a half, 2 weeks, really last month, it's been building, but really concentrated in the last week. There's been theories going out over the number 27, okay, saying that the number 27 has connections with Rockstar and therefore something might happen on the 27th. There's even in some instances ties to 12/27, so December 27th, insinuating something big might happen. There we go. Some of the examples of this would be, as you can see in this collection from Cyberboy, Cyberboy UK over on X. There's some individual instances. The GTA franchise is 27 years old. Rockstar has 27 posts on Instagram. This is something that will be referenced in just a second. Remember the 27 posts on Instagram thing. Rockstar was incorporated, New York City version of Rockstar specifically, was incorporated on 27th December 1998 when Sam Houser was 27 years old. 1998 equals 27. Okay, 27 seconds into the first trailer, there's a car with the number 27 on it, which we checked is actually true. A bunch of stuff like that. Jason is the USA's 27th most popular name. So people pointed to all of these numbers. 27. Wow. And some of them were more convincing than others. Like this one I thought was actually kind of cool. Maybe like 8, the 84, and then the timestamp. If I add all those together, it's 12/27. That's cool. That one, that's cool. The others, like Rockstar NYC, not even London, where like the game is mainly being made, but like Rockstar NYC was founded in 1998. It's like, okay, there's a little bit of a stretch, but okay. So a lot of people took these and ran with them. Yeah, GTA Vice City ID, title ID in the Rockstar launcher is 27. A lot of people took it and ran, but people started getting really excited that something was about to happen. Rockstar deleted a post early on Christmas Eve so that they would be stuck down at 27. So they didn't want to go back to 27. People started looking, oh, they said happy holidays. Rockstar tweeted out happy holidays. Whoa. If you look at the alphabetic to numerical translation, it is 93 minus 66, which equals 27. Ned Luke, if you don't know him, he played Michael in GTA 5, December 27th. 5 stars. Oh my God. It's happening. A lot of people were fully convinced. And like, here's the thing, to give credit to some of these guys. A lot of like the YouTubers and streamers and stuff that were talking this up were sort of hedging the bets and were like, yeah, I mean, it's interesting. There's a lot of coincidences. Nothing is probably going to happen. I think they're probably trolling, or it's just us seeing patterns and shadows that aren't really there. But there are many thousands, if not millions of people that do honestly believe something is happening today or was going to happen today, and are like, they feel lied to after all of this, when in reality, like, human beings are really good at seeing patterns. That's why, like, we look at clouds and see animals in them. You know, we just, it's pareidolia. We just see patterns everywhere we look. It's something we're really good at. And when we start looking for patterns to fulfill like a preconceived notion, we start to find them everywhere. Like that Rockstar Games was founded in this year on this date, and one of the founders was this many years old when that happened. And, you know, all of these things start to combine, and it's like, it's cool, but it doesn't necessarily tell you anything, you know? It's just a cool little number. This morning, very first thing that happened was Rockstar went and they deleted a post. Oh, thank you. Rockstar went and deleted a post on their Instagram to get down to 26 posts. People are like, oh God, here it comes. And they prepped it. And guess what? This week is your last chance to save during the Rockstar Store holiday sale. Same thing was posted to their Instagram. Like, after all of this, It seems they were building up to a holiday sale for 20% off Red Dead for PC, 50% off for GTA 5, 75% off GTA 4, 30% off all Rockstar Games apparel and collectibles. It was a little funny. Granted, I know some people are going to be screaming. They're like, Luke, the day is young. The day is young. They might still do something, and that's true. They might still do something. The GTA 6 original trailer launched at like, I'm trying to think when it was. I think I saw it at like 5 or 6 p.m. I was my son Orion. He was in the hospital the day that it dropped. He had RSV, and so his blood oxygen levels were tanking, and so we were actually in the hospital. And I was just like holding him while my phone just starts bzz, 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 bzz. I was like, what is going on? I thought somebody was calling to check on my son. Nope, they were calling and texting to tell me that the GTA 6 trailer dropped. He's okay, to be fair. To be clear, he's a little rock star. I had RSV a bunch when I was a baby, so it's unfortunately just something he's predisposed to, but he's okay. Hasn't had any problems like that this year. It was just last December he got hit really hard with all of that, but everything is okay now. Having said all of that stuff, I think there's always sort of whenever something like this happens in the games industry and really in media in general, there's a convenient ignorance of one of the options, because people generally try to whittle things down into the most like black and white option possible, where people say, okay, it is either that Rockstar is signaling with the number 27. This has been building. This is numerological. This is crazy. You know, they're going big brain, 200 IQ moves to signal to us that the next trailer is dropping on the 27th and it's going to blow our minds. There's that option. Or the other option is that it is nothing but coincidences. There is nothing happening. You are all psychotic and seeing things that aren't there. You've all lost your minds and you're all crazy. And if you think that there's anything to this, you're crazy. And people look at those two options and they say, it's just so many coincidences. I don't think it can be that. I don't think it's all just coincidences. So maybe this is the actual option, because if that's my two options, I don't think it's this. So it's got to be this. But they ignore the fact that there might be something in the middle that's another option, which I think is much more likely, which is that Rockstar is aware of all the 1227 stuff. How could they not be at this point? And maybe some of the coincidences, they're like, okay, that's actually kind of funny. That's actually kind of cool. Like the timestamp in the video, that's cool. Or in the first trailer, there being a 27 on the trailer, which I didn't believe when I first saw it, but like no joke. GTA 6 trailer. I didn't believe this when we looked at it, but no, if you go 27 seconds into the first trailer right here, you can see 27. Granted, it's also at 28 seconds. So that could also apply, but there is a car with the number 27 on it at 27 seconds into the trailer. That's a funny coincidence. I think Rockstar probably saw all this stuff and was like, oh, that's kind of cool. What if we just like ham it up a little bit? What if we just do a little trolling? And so there's an option between they know all of it, they're intentional, this is coded messaging, it's the Illuminati and everything is real, and this is all fake, you're all psychotic. There's an option between, which is that they're aware of it and maybe they ham it up in a couple little instances, like telling Ned Luke to maybe, yeah, you can tease them a little bit about it. Yeah, that's fine. Or other things where they post this and they know people are going to do the alphabet numbering thing, and maybe they post a picture that looks like a 27 if you squint your eyes a little bit, stuff like that, just to ham it up. And they refuse to shut it down because, again, they could have come out and been like, there is no trailer coming this year. We'll see you next year. They could have done that, but why would they? GTA 6 somehow at the end of this year is all like anybody is really talking about, despite them literally doing nothing. Like, they have literally done nothing, and yet they've just let the line out as people started to freak out. The cat's out of the bag photos were crazy, though. The ultimate bait. I own 2 cats Finley and Hermione, they're wonderful. And when we looked at those pictures, I was like, guys, cats jump in and out of bags. They do that. And if you take a picture of your cat and there is a paper bag out, there's a good chance that there will be a cat in that bag very shortly after. You know, I did not look at those pictures and immediately think, oh God, they're signaling to us. Like, that's the type of stuff where I think people were just so hungry for something. They were looking for it. They were seeing shadows and everything. And when we look at other stuff, like for example, that Ned Luke stuff I mentioned, that 27th 5-star thing he said, it's because he was preparing to reveal that he was an ROG brand partner, which I honestly, that's great. I love ROG. I love my ROG ally. I don't know what this even means, but I don't know what it means to be a brand partner for ROG ally, but he apparently is one now. But this is what he was teasing for the 27th. And for ROG was probably like, hell yeah, ham it up. Everybody's going to be watching your Twitter page on the 27th. So yeah, please ham it up, you know? And that's why there's an option between, which is that this started as just coincidences and people seeing patterns and stuff that weren't really there, or the patterns were there, but like it wasn't intentionally placed. And then these companies were like, hey, let's just make the most of this. Easy. You know, and Hidden Ones on X posted this. I kind of feel bad for GTA creators on YouTube. To think they'd have to wait 2 whole years is crazy. What more could they do with GTA 5 content that hasn't been done? There's a major issue people might not realize: burnout. I think this just comes with the territory of making your channel about a singular game, not even like a franchise, which some of them are the franchise, but at least with Hidden Ones being an AC focused channel with like Ubisoft stuff, there's a lot to talk about. Like, they pump out a lot of AC content, for better or worse. There's a lot to talk about. For GTA, if you make a GTA channel, you know you're talking a decade at least between all of them. You know what you're getting into. And I think that is kind of where this comes from. There is a void of actual content to discuss. And so all these people just start throwing crap in there to try to fill it up. Because like, okay, well, there's nothing really to talk about. Let's just start looking for stuff. And a lot of people start to kind of make stuff up, or a lot of people start to fill in the blanks. You're even seeing it now with like the PlayStation side of things. I don't know if you guys saw the fake leaks of Wolverine footage. I don't know if I even bookmarked it because it was very, very fake. But people were sending me like links to this leaked Wolverine gameplay from the Insomniac game. And it was like the fakest thing I've ever seen in my life. It was just like a reworked mod using a Call of Duty map. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it was really, really bad. But people were eating it up, and it had like 5,000 likes on X or something, and it was being spread like crazy because people just were looking for something to talk about, you know? And I think this is why it's the responsibility of the creators to not just fill in the void for easy content or clicks, because ultimately it's going to damage your own brand. There's going to be a lot of people unsubscribing from those YouTube channels, from those X accounts and stuff today, when they realize that there was nothing there. It's not necessarily some of these guys' fault. They were just putting together the theories and sharing that. They weren't endorsing them, but they're going to be lumped in with it now because that's just what happens. Like, look at this. GTA 6 is trending as some fans have convinced themselves that Rockstar released trailer 2 today. Michael's actor from GTA 5 is getting in on the fun too. They share that post. But as you can see, Ned Luke, he clarified, my post has nothing to do with Rockstar or GTA 6. Y'all stop listening to these so-called self-proclaimed insiders. I mean, I know he does the 5-star thing as like a nod to GTA 5 and that role that most people know him for. I get he does that. But a lot of people see this and infer from that it's GTA related when it's just not. So that one I can understand some people misunderstanding. They don't realize that's his like sign off at this point. He's trolling most likely. I mean, there's a little bit of that. But again, like for ROG, if they're doing this big partnership reveal, why would they not be like, hey, just let's put the announcement on the 27th. They could have said, we're going to do the announcement on the 28th. Or on the 1st or the 2nd. Like, I don't think it's that crushing of a thing where like they need to do it today. But they chose to do it on the 27th because they knew everybody's eyes would be on everybody even slightly related or close to Grand Theft Auto. So anyway, this whole thing has just been a total crazy wild ride. And maybe, you know, the day is not over yet. Maybe we are going to be talking later in the stream. They drop a trailer out of nowhere and it's going to blow us all away. Maybe that's what happens. But I think it's most likely that all of this was just a fun little way of trolling everybody to promote a merch sale on the Rockstar store. I think that that's the most likely option. Maybe at 2:07, maybe, or maybe it's going to be at 12:27. Oh my God. It's all coming together, man. But then you got to pick which time zone we're looking at. The whole thing is crazy. The whole thing is crazy. The whole thing's crazy. But I think what it does show is just, again, the power of GTA 5 as a brand, the hunger people have for content about it. And it's the dangerous thing about hype is that people love talking about this one thing so much that they need to talk about it even when there's nothing to really talk about. So they fill in the void with nonsense. And some, you know, grifter types will just make stuff up or will ham stuff up that isn't really connected. Like there's people that will conveniently not mention that Ned Luke was clearly doing like an ROG ally or an ROG brand representative partner, whatever reveal. They're going to ignore that and just be like, see, he signaled that it was going to happen. When if you thought about it for 2 seconds, it probably is something else. And that's why you should be skeptical. That's why you should withhold your judgment on this crazy stuff until it is justified. Yeah, hype can damage your thinking. Hype puts blinders on, and that's why I have that t-shirt in my merch store. Hype makes you stupid because it conditions your brain to ignore the downsides and only focus on the stuff that affirms your biases and your priors, you know? And that's the dangerous thing. That's the big problem. But who knows? Maybe we'll get the trailer later today. But I don't think we will. But maybe. But probably not. But maybe. All day, you better believe people are going to be refreshing. People are going to be checking because they just, I think people are bored. But this is the other piece that somebody brought up to me on stream like a few weeks ago that I hadn't really processed. They were like, a lot of the current gaming discourse, like the rage over maybe AC Shadows or Concord or whatever, a lot of that is because there's not really anything else to talk about. So it again fills the void, because we're going to talk about games. We just fill the void with whatever games are out around that time. And they were like, for next year, it's going to be really interesting to see how this discourse changes or worsens or whatever based on the sheer volume of games that will be out. There will be so many AAA games, it will blow your socks off. I really think, like, if you just look at February, for example, if there are channels that want to just make 15 videos bashing AC Shadows, they're going to get flooded out by videos on Monster Hunter, previews for Monster Hunter Wilds, for avowed reviews and previews for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 footage, Civ 7 footage. Like, all of this stuff is about to change because it's going to be so freaking stacked. And even now, we don't know some of the other kind of holes in the schedule. There's not really anything for March. There's not really anything for May. April is super empty. And I think that's because Nintendo is going to sweep in there, and everybody on the big publisher side, I think they all know that. I think behind the scenes, some of these big publishers have gotten like the dev kits, and they've been working on ports of their games for the Switch 2. And so I think they know, oh, you're launching this March 7th. Okay. We will steer clear. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think up through the end of February, everything is going to be just a mad dash of AAA releases, everybody getting their stuff in before the fiscal year ends. And then I think Nintendo will take over. Before we move into the next segment, I'll just say this. The elephant in the room with GTA 6, and we've talked about this before, but I'll just run through it real quick. The problem for GTA 6 is that if the price point that is generally considered to be like acceptable is $70 or something, That's a standard that was created by Take-Two Interactive. It was the 2K21, 2K22. It was one of those that kickstarted that craze of everything being $70. So it was the parent company of Rockstar as well that made that move from 60 to 70. So I wouldn't be surprised if they try to change it. But my personal theory, I don't think they're going to launch GTA 6 and be like, this is a true quadruple A game. Therefore, we're going from 70 for this. It's a new tier. So we're not changing $70 to something else. There's a new tier above 70 for quadruple A games. Watch out, Ubisoft. And we're going to charge 120 for it. They could do that. No, like literally nothing is stopping them from doing that. They could do that and there's no like repercussions. And the real truth of the matter is that I think a lot of people would buy it, but I don't think that's what they're doing. I think what they do is they have the game that is $70 because it's a AAA game and they're like, booyah, that's what we're charging. But we have a deluxe edition and this deluxe edition is 120 and it comes with 5-day early access. I think this makes it pop off. It will be such a crazy, crazy, huge launch. Millions upon millions upon millions of people will pay for this. Yeah, they could just wait for the $70 version 5 days later. That's the reasonable thing to do. But everybody they know, every streamer will be playing this version and the leaks will start coming like crazy. I think tons of people would buy this, even though you can still technically get it for the normal price of $70 for a AAA game. If you're willing to pony up some extra cash, then you could do that. They could even go as much as like 150 for this. I see some people saying in chat, they could easily do that. The other perk of this, which I think Rockstar cares about specifically, is digital versus physical. One of the problems with Rockstar games is that they are extremely popular. And one thing that happened, I remember back in 2018 with Red Dead Redemption 2, was that they sent out like the big boxes of physical copies of the game. If you've ever worked in retail, I worked at Best Buy like in this time period. And one of the things that happened was that they shipped out these massive boxes and they just had hundreds of copies of the game inside the box. And those were dated. The sticker would say, don't open until this date, or we had to put them on this shelf and not touch them. But what happened at places like Walmart or some Best Buys and Amazon warehouses and stuff is that just one guy grabs that, tucks it under his shirt, and sneaks off with it. And of course they have systems and protections, metal detectors, stuff like that. But occasionally somebody gets lucky and gets away with it. And they can go on eBay and sell that version of the game for $1,000, $2,000, $5,000. Some copies of games have sold for like $5,000 to $10,000 for a few days early access, which is wild, but that has happened before. Now, there are some easy solutions, which is to just have it require an online internet connection to unlock. A lot of games, most games nowadays do that, where even if you have the physical disc, you have to have an internet connection to activate it. But you still have to worry about like data miners and stuff like that, which is a thing that the GTA community is certainly capable of. So what is the perk of doing this for Rockstar? Well, it's 5-day early access, online only. Oops, no. They can do that. If it's online, you can do for digital copies, early access for 5 days. And that means when this launches, after that, you ship out the physical copies. So if early access starts on the 1st for digital copies, you can send out on the 2nd the physical copies that will show up on the 5th. And then you don't have to worry about any of those leaks because people can already get the game. People already have paid for it. You just totally bypass that potential problem. Of course, there's still the problem of manufacturers leaking stuff, but that's at least easier to control than manufacturing and the shipments and protecting the retail side of things It's much easier to just worry about the manufacturing and security side. So that's the other perk of doing it this way. So this is my personal theory for what they're going to do. I think it will be priced at 70, but I think they will have a $120 or $150 version that has online only for digital copies, early access, and everybody else that pays 70 or that buys a physical version will be getting it later. And using the power of FOMO, they will sell crazy numbers of copies, most of which I think are going to be at this higher price tier. I know some of you guys in chat are like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not paying early. I'm not doing it. Good for you. Good for you. But I will tell you, there are tens upon tens of millions of people that will save up extra to pay this price. There are a lot of people that will put in the extra work, like the extra shift at work, to get that money. There's a lot of people that will go and sell a few of their games so that they can afford that. There's people that will sell that second PlayStation controller they have so they can get the early access. It will be that big of a deal. If you're not a big GTA fan, that's totally fine. But I need you to understand just how huge GTA is as a franchise and how big this game will be. It's on a different level than anything that has released in the last decade. It just is. Like the Red Dead Ultimate Edition or Special Edition, a little bit differently because again, like since 2018, digital copies have, or the digital market share has like doubled or tripled or something crazy like that. Digital copies are way more common today. So the acceptance of that is much more normalized than it was back in 2018 when Red Dead launched. They'll still do, I'm sure, a collector's edition and stuff, but I think any of these things will require that you use the digital version of the game. I don't think they'll do physical early access. I don't think they're going to bother shipping out copies of the game to people as part of this early access thing. And maybe if you buy the digital deluxe or you buy the collector's edition for $300, $400, $500, they could still get you that digital early access. Maybe they just tell you, yeah, we're going to email you the code early. So you still get to play it early, but we're not sending you the disc. I think that that's probably how this works. What's the justification for digital copies costing the same as physical ones? Because they can just tell you to pay it and you will. Like it is stupid because obviously it costs more to make a physical copy than a digital, but if they charge $70 for both, you're still going to buy it because if you want the game, you have to buy it. Like that's how they get away with it. Everybody knew this is where it was going. They were never going to be like, yeah, now we're doing digital, so it's a permanent 10% discount. Like, no. They know you're willing to pay $60 or $70 for the game just to play it. So they're like, yeah, well, we can just keep doing that. He took my thing.